3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, you're watching Ash on Comics. I'm Ash. Here's my friendly co-host, Stan the Man. He's got his big drink as always. What are you drinking today, Stan? Oh, Coke? Okay, Coke is it. Good job. Look at that. Look at this. This is a beautiful, beautiful comic. Can't see the price because it's on the back where the UPC is. Why can't they put the UPC on the back on all comics? I don't know. But it's $5.99 and it's thick. It's hard to tell here. This is about as thick as your typical Indiegogo book. And why do I mention that? Well, because I'm always talking about comics and Indiegogo guys. I love them. I want them to succeed. But I'm tired of hearing so much all the time about how comics are dead and Indiegogo is the way of the future for comics and da-da-da-da. If I were to buy this on Indiegogo, if this were an Indiegogo creation, first of all, it wouldn't be Great Capullo art. Okay. Now you could say, well, maybe it's Ethan Van Sciver. Yeah, Ethan Van Sciver is a rock star. He's one of the few big names who might compare with this. But the book might be $35, $37. One of the ones I was interested in, I've commented on before. Smaller book than this, $37. This was $5.99. We complained today about comics being too expensive, and they are. They shouldn't be this much. But relatively, in today's market for comics, when comics are $3.99, a big, thick-ass issue like this. Let's see how many pages is this? 62 pages. Actually, it fudge a couple pages here because the digital counts like the cover and everything as a page. But, so this is almost 3 comics worth of content. Much bigger than a 48-page book. You're getting a lot, and I'm not going to take this out of the bag. I have not even read this. I'm keeping this in gem mint condition. And yeah, it's a gorgeous book. In every stretch of the imagination, every realm that you can think of, that is a fantastic book for $5.99. And then you got the writing. Now, the writing is kind of controversial right now, and I've debated on how I wanted to talk about this book. Primarily, our boy Zach, Richard C. Meyer, did a review of this book. And if you haven't seen it, I invite you to watch his review. I think he completely missed the mark on this book, 100%. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I should just keep it pure. I should just review the book, shut up about anyone else, just do my own review and let it stand for itself. But 2 things. 1, I thought Zach missed the mark so much. And 2, Zach is a huge reason I'm even buying this book in the first place. Not because his review got me to buy the book, but he's one of the people that got me back into comics. His love and passion for comics mimics my own. And generally, his taste for comics mimics my own. He's got a reputation for having some really wacky taste. Usually that applies to movies where he'll really like these off, just terrible mega blockbuster, movies that everyone's just like, what? You like that? And then some really good movie come out and he'll just be like, oh, it sucked. And so we just we laugh. It's a joke, whatever. No big deal. And everyone has different tastes. But I'm going to tell you right now, this book, and I don't want to be hyperbolic. This book is fantastic. I read it again before doing this review today, just to sort of get familiar and up to speed, and just my memory is not what it used to be, and I just want to be a little sharper on my review than I am sometimes, and I just wanted to make sure that I felt the same things, everything, and it resonated the same way, and it does. This book, I'm going to say something really hyperbolic right now, is one of the best Batman books I've ever read, not written by Frank Miller. That really narrows it down. The first question on my Discord server, someone asked, "You mean it's better than White Knight?" Yes. Now, caveat, White Knight is a full series. If I were just to say the first issue of White Knight versus the first issue of Batman Last Night on Earth, this is better. Now I'm getting caught up on my words because I've said what really needs to be said. This is Snyder and Capullo's magnum opus, if you will. They've been promoting it as such, as this is their last Batman story. You know, it's Snyder's literal telling of Batman's last story. This is supposed to be the last Batman adventures, supposedly. And let's get into the book. Speaking of White Knight, now I have no knocks on White Knight at all. Please don't take anything I've said. If anything, use that as praise. I'm very much looking forward to this, and I hope this is even better than this book, because that means that book will be utterly astounding, and that's what we all want. Here are the credits, if you didn't know. Part 1, The Cave. And it opens up in the traditional type Batman story. It's being narrated by Alfred. "We've had many adventures together, Batman and I. I've been at his side practically his whole life." "Nearing final destination, Alfred." "I'm here. Sensors show no movement at the site, sir. From the start, though, something about this case felt different. He'd been following it for almost exactly a year." Yada, yada, yada. And we just get, the normal dialogue and some really cool visuals of Batman that we all like to see. Over this imagery of someone drawing chalk lines, we come to find out that the chalk lines go over the whole city, and Batman's pieced it together as he does, and it's Batman. And the heart, where Batman's heart would be in this sort of like chalk outline, is right where his parents died. And so Batman's on the case and he's going in, and I just love, I don't know if this is intentional or me just drawing connections that aren't there, but this Miller-esque Batman. It's like Scott and Capullo both know what they're bringing to the table, and that the Dark Knight Returns, this is a big deal. And drawing the black cowl like this, which is not really black, but it's just always in shadow. I don't know. I love Capullo's imagery here. And Scott doesn't get it too wordy, which he can do sometimes, letting some silent scenes carry. And Bruce comes up and he sees this boy. And Alfred's like, "Sir, please be careful. Something about this." "I know, Alfred. Son, I'm going to take a look at you, okay? Just to make sure you're all right. Don't be frightened. I'm here." And he's lifting up the umbrella. "To help. My God." And it's a dead kid. Now, I don't recall if this is supposed to be young Bruce or a kid that looks like young Bruce. Part of this story is very, I don't want to say confusing, but it doesn't answer everything. And I like that, actually. People are knocking about it like, "Oh, this story, things don't make sense." Well, sometimes in a story, a good story, things aren't supposed to make sense. It's supposed to leave you wondering. Alfred's narrating the whole thing. "Sir, I think you should get out of there." "Signal Jim. Victim appears to be 10, maybe 11 years old. Body badly decomposed." And it's like tick, 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 zzz, things going on. He's been posed by a means of a prop, some kind of mechanical. "Sir, his arm. Bruce, move. Now, Bruce. Bruce." And then, presumably, Bruce gets killed. Now, that part, again, it's not definitive. You're just sort of left by the narrative to believe that. Really, dog? Oh, let's go out. Let's go. Okay. So, if you've read the preview, which is available to read, then you've seen this part. Now, hopefully you've all read all this anyway, because I'm about to spoil this book, And this is not a book you want to be spoiled. This book has quite a few twists and turns, and I really, really like that. It's very hard to do in comics, mostly because writing that type of story takes a lot of time and forethought and planning and rewrites and things like that. And comic writers don't have that luxury. You know, they're churning out multiple books per month. So that can be very difficult. So a comic book to have this sort of plot structure is very impressive. Bruce, eyes open. Bruce, and you can see the light. I love how the paneling, goes from black borders to white. It's just so stark. It's hospital. There's no shadows whatsoever. Alfred, come in. Is anyone here? You're here? Bruce Wayne, my lord. You're right here, and it's finally over. And we look at this doctor, and if he looks familiar, if he looks like something, that's on purpose. This doctor is supposed to be sort of a representation of the Joker. And Bruce Wayne wakes up, and basically the doctor's explaining to him everything he's thought of has all been this psychosomatic psychosis. He's been living not in a dream per se, but he's crazy. And if you've seen the film Sucker Punch by Scott Snyder, the guy who did Man of Steel and stuff, that's another divisive film. I really love Sucker Punch, and it uses an asylum setting and people being crazy and so forth, and having reality versus delusion crisscross over and over, and the characters have adventures that are actually in the asylum, but they picture it as, the characters being these crazy monsters or World War I soldiers or different things when they're actually just the staff of the hospital. Anyways, this book is playing off of that same type of concept. We find out the whole time Bruce, he's in Arkham Asylum. And he's been this way for years. And there's a lot of dialogue here. I won't go in. I really want you to enjoy this. Even though I'm spoiling it, I'm assuming there's going to be a couple people that watch this video that just like, I'm just going to watch the video without reading the book. And it's like, please stop now. Stop, please. I beg you. This is one of the best books. This is probably the best book I have. I'd have to say for sure. This is the best comic I have read since getting back into comics in the modern era. This is awesome. Like, best new comic. I have read like a back issues and things like that, but this is phenomenal. And Alfred shows up. Bruce, is it really you? Dr. Hood, and the doctor is saying, oh yeah, everything's going fine, and he's waking up, and the whole time Bruce is just like, what the fuck is happening to me? Alfred, please, just take me home. And Alfred's like, I will, my boy, I will, no one blames you, and Bruce is like, forgiven? What are you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you understood. When you killed your parents in that alley. And the Fly, no! And you're just like, wow. Now, as I'm presenting it here, it's very dry, of course, and I'm just explaining to you what's happening. As you read the book, if you let yourself get into the book. And let me tell you, too, one of the things I did when I read this book, I popped in the Batman Dark Knight Rises soundtrack. And I don't care if you dislike the film or whatever. The soundtrack for Dark Knight Rises is amazing. And I read the book not slowly, but just at an even pace. I didn't try to rush through. I tried to savor every panel. And man, that soundtrack flows with this book so perfectly. I remember like when this scene came up and just the tones of the music, it was just creepy and and he's just like, you're not Alfred. Who are you? Stop it. Just stop it, damn it, says Alfred. All these years, enough. Look, will you? And he like opens up the drapes and he sees like the rest of the hospital staff, the people that Bruce has turned into the villains, and you can sort of probably see that's probably Harlequin, and I don't know who that might be, Clayface or maybe Killer Croc. I don't know. Every woman's has a role, and he's like, oh, it's not true. What's true is this, and all your doctors are here, and he's explaining what I just did. And, Alfred's like, I'm going to take you home. And Bruce is like, no, Alfred, don't go. Please don't leave me, please. And it's heartbreaking as a reader to see Bruce Wayne, the Batman, in this position, in this sort of like broken. He's not necessarily broken, but he's in this super vulnerable state, right? We like to see Batman as this, rock that's unbreakable and can get through anything. But I mean, his world is just incomprehensible, and he's alone. The only ally in the world he has, the only friend, the only family, the only anything in the world that he has is Alfred. And he's just, that vulnerability leaks out, and it's heartbreaking, but it's real. And I don't mean real in like the Tom King sense where he's trying to turn comics into reality. I mean real in the sense that it resonates off the page as believable, as this is okay. And this is one of the things I credit Scott Snyder for, is like to be able to put Bruce in this position and not have it come across as like the way Tom King does, where it's just like, oh, you just made Batman into this like, broken, depressed, like normal Joe. But Batman's not a normal Joe. This is DC Comics. But even DC Comics has its own laws of reality, right? And within those realities, we expect the characters to fit within. And so Batman, it would take an extreme situation, and this is a situation I buy. And he's not whining or crying, but he's just like, please don't go. Alfred's like, I love you, my boy. I will be back soon. Please don't go, please. It's okay, Bruce. You've been lost in the dark a long time. Your eyes need to adjust. That's all. And they give him a shot sedative. Bruce wakes up later, and he's in a padded room. And he's like, come on. It has to be here somewhere. He finds the penny and the dinosaur. And he's just like realizing, oh shit, no. And you as the reader are the same way. You're like, no. But notice symbolically here, the black is back, right? It's not the Stark. Now, of course, it is in the nighttime. It's not the White Hospital, but I think there's something symbolic to that as well. The paneling and the gutters are black. I don't believe you. I'll never believe you. Do you hear me? Never. He's pounding. It pains me to see you this way, sir. It pains us all, truly, more than you can imagine. And that's true. So here we see Alfred now is talking to Bruce. And I don't want to read all this to you, but Alfred's still trying to bring him back to reality. And he finally has to show Bruce, here's your costume. This is what Batman is. And you're just like, oh. And it's so worthy of like a full panel reveal. You're just like, take a look at this. You're just like, oh. Now, I had read the preview, so I had spoiled this for myself. But still, I got to experience it in the preview, and it was gut-wrenching then. And you're just like, damn. And Alfred is, super crucial to this whole storyline because it sells the reality. Because you as the reader, you don't want to buy that this is real. But Alfred wouldn't betray Bruce. Alfred wouldn't lie to Bruce. And he's like, you're telling me that's the jacket you kept all along. And he explains how it all worked. And Bruce is like, I don't understand. What about this? What about that? And Alfred answers everything, of how, basically answers his whole delusions. And he's like, see it and accept it. We can start going home. We can go back to the manor. You and me together, please. What is it, Bruce? Bruce, please say something. What? And notice their hands are touching, and then Bruce's eyes light up. That's Batman right there. Look at that. I'm going to need that suit back right now. And you're just like, what? Part 2, the right hand. And then it cuts to, oh God, I would just love to see this be made into a movie. In less than 5 minutes, he's made it to the 3rd floor. In 7th, he's on the 5th. The police arrive as he's reaching the 9th. Mr. Wayne, there are 10 of us and 1 of you. Not good odds. Right, for you. And this is the Batman we all love, right? He's just taking them out. But he's, non-lethal force, but he's Batman. He takes the bat from one of them on 9. The belt he gets from a Sergeant Bullock on the 10th floor. He's big, so he wraps it around his waist twice. Captain Gordon, a longtime advocate, makes an effort to talk to him on 11. Remember me, son, he says. The talks on the roof, the skylight. He takes Gordon's boots, and before the sentence ends, in a moment, he's on 12. And then there's nowhere left to go. Bruce, please stop this. Never. I figured out your secret, Alfred. Why'd you do it? Just calm down. I'm begging. Tell me why. We can still... Why? Take the shot, Mr. Pennyworth. And Pennyworth pauses. No. Just leave us. And they are alone. Why? And so, spoiler, this is where it gets kind of... Because there's nothing left for you, my boy. You want the truth? Beyond this window, there's nothing. What do you mean, nothing? No Gotham, no friends, no world. It's all gone. So I failed? How? What happened? Please, Bruce, don't you see? You're finally free. That's why I did this, blah, blah, blah. He's explaining. No mission except to live. To be who you never got to be. Bruce Wayne. Not Batman, please. Take my hand. Please, take it. Bruce grabs him. Let me see you. Wait, Bruce, don't. Let me see. Please, Bruce, don't. And then it's just like the hologram breaking down. Oh, don't look. And now we see the face of an old Alfred, approximately maybe in his 80s. So I'd surmise this to be, depending on how old you think canon Alfred is, probably in his 50s, is like 30 years in the future. I'm so sorry. It's good to see you, old friend. It was my heartbeat, wasn't it? Yes. When I felt your pulse, I knew you were much older than you were letting on. The funny thing is, I have the bloody coverings, but they're still off a bit, and I was worried you'd notice them. It's all just not finished yet. You woke up before I was ready, you see. 2 years early, in fact. But there's so much more to it, Bruce. And you're like, woke up early? What's going on? And I didn't piece it together until the second read. And then he's explaining how Toyman, what he did, and there's like part of Gotham is now basically like Toyman's world, and the people are just facsimiles. It's like, there's a man or two, every detail home. If you'd just come see, Bruce, if you'd give it a chance, maybe. Alfred, I can't. Pause. I know you can't, sir. Come with me. No, I'm afraid I don't have it in me. Not after everything that's happened. When you go, though, take something to remember us, won't you? Your family. Maybe that blasted penny. Yes, the penny. Alfred, why don't I feel old? I feel young, strong. I'll tell you if you want, but it'll upset you, and you'll want to leave after. So first, a favor. For an old man, anything. Let me hold you one last time. Let me hold the boy I love. The feels. I don't know why anyone is criticizing this book. First of all, the art is impeccable. It's fucking stellar. But this is the second time now that Scott hit me where I'm just like, damn, if you're a Batman fan and you've been on these adventures with Batman and Alfred, feeling through all this dialogue, the reason I read to you part of this dialogue, so you could get an understanding of what these scenes mean and Alfred's importance to it. I even skipped over my favorite part up at the top where he's talking about Toyman. He's like, half a mile of Gotham with people, not real people, but then again, so real. The algorithms. I acted every part for you, Bruce. Hundreds. It's my masterpiece. And that's where he's like, Alfred, there's a man or two. So Alfred has played into this all along for Bruce to get Bruce his reality that he needs. And you're like, well, what reality? Like, it's not making sense until after this last hold, and it's like he's gonna let Bruce go, and then boom, then I'll say goodbye, and the hand comes up to the dirt, gasp, and we see Batman, the same, he's in the same asylum clothes, and he's in the apocalypse. It's like Road Warrior. It's the end times. And still, but it's still Batman. He's walking and he sees this pole sticking in the ground. It's ding, ding, ding. It's this little lantern. And he comes up, and inside is Joker's head. And he's like, what? And then, who's there? Joker. He goes into fighting stance. I thought that was classic. Wait, the knock-knock comes first, doesn't it? Shit. How are you? Alive? No idea. How are you alive? I don't care because you're here. You came back for me. And Joker provides a sense of levity to this story that is fantastic. Like here, yes, just look at us. Just like old times. Batman and Noggin. Am I right, Bats? Hey, is this thing on? As Bats just solemnly is walking into the distance. And it's just like, damn, this is awesome. Then you get part 3, the asylum. It was 2 days' journey to Coast City. And they don't waste time. Scott's like, I'm not going to waste time. Just get where you need to go. And they get to Coast City. And I'm thinking that's the Hall of Doom. I think. And then I think that's Mogo. I'm not a big Green Lantern aficionado, so pardon my ignorance on some of these things. But anyways, they talk about all the ground is littered with Green Lantern rings. Just hundreds of thousands of rings, just, right? And Mogo's dead, and so the rings can't be properly assigned to people anymore. So they're just like finding users, and it's like these people in the wasteland now that are just all messed up, and the rings can't, they can't be properly assigned. And so they don't really know how to control the rings, so like they can only manifest like their most basic ideas. And they explain in the book like it takes willpower to handle blah blah. If you're a Green Lantern person, so that's why they just make these like babies, and it's just like blah. And I thought it was pretty cool. So we have a fight with this, and at one point, so they get rescued, and this little portal opens up, it's camouflaged, and woman grabs Batman. They bring her in, and we see Poison Ivy. This is probably someone that I'm not recognizing. And they're like, wait, he kind of looks like the real Article. And then she looks back, and whack, knocks him out. Part 4, echolocation. There's no going back, people. So make sure you have everything you need, okay? And the more you struggle, the faster it grows. And then we see Amazons. So it looks like we have Supergirl, possibly Donna Troy. Again, I'm not sure who that is. You can tell me. It looks like Poison Ivy, and maybe Poison Ivy's daughter. I don't know. And of course, Wonder Woman's still alive. She's wearing Dr. Fate's helmet, so Bruce doesn't recognize her at first. She explains that magic's dead. There is no more magic. There's no more heroes, just like there's no Batman or Wonder Woman. And then I hear people have criticized this. This is silly. Oh, she's got a mohawk. Oh, it's so edgelord. No, it's not edgelord. They're living in the freaking end times. This is like a Mad Max apocalypse. To see Wonder Woman with her like long black locks and looking all glamorous like the classic Wonder Woman would not be fitting. I guess the story would work that way. I probably wouldn't have like complained. But this seems fitting. This is like, okay, this is a harsh world. And she's now a jaded person. It's still Diana, but she's lost all of her friends, all her family, and she's now just has one purpose. And she's a warrior. This is Diana at pure warrior mode. Bruce is like, Diana, thank God, please tell me who did this. Who killed the world? It's simple, Bruce. You did. And she cuts his bindings free. It's like, oh, shit, damn. Of course it has to be that way. It's like, who ended the world? Of course, Bruce. And now Bruce has got to fix it. And Diana's got this plan. There's like the remnants of the world. And she explains how the Justice League's fallen. And we can see here, nice Planet of the Ape, oh, damn it. The Statue of Liberty. Anyways, nice kind of homage. And she explains to Bruce a bit of the past. And this is where more critique comes in, where people are like, this doesn't make sense. Like, because, it's about Lex Luthor came in and he basically convinced the people that the heroes were the enemies and da-da-da-da. They rose up. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, dude, this is freaking Lex Luthor, first of all. Right now in the comics, he's gaining the power of like a god. If you think something's not possible with Lex Luthor, I just don't think you're reading comics. This guy can achieve anything. So the people rise in, and Batman, they explain how Batman let him into the Justice League because he's like, look, we just need to like let him in, empower him. That's the way to solve this. And there's like a writhing mob, and they tear him to shreds apparently when they let him in. And then they tore apart Arthur next and Oliver. And so people are like, well, how would you tear apart Aquaman? He's like super strong and everything like that. It's like thousands of people. Potentially. Now, also, the story doesn't explain, did Luthor empower any of these people? We don't know that it's just like, as Zach said, people from Walmart walked into, as a Walmart mob walked into the Justice League and tore the heroes apart. It's like, this very well could be armed populace, with Luthor tech. None of this is really explained, but it's not needed to be explained. That would just be overly complicated in a story where people are complaining that Zack Snyder overcomplicates the stories. Here he is being like, look, we're just telling you a brief history. The people rose up, they rose against the heroes. Do we need to explain now on pages and pages of dialogue, exposition about how they actually took down Superman? No, that's not important. Part of the wondering, how did they actually do it, is the mystery. And a villain rose up called Omega that apparently was able to beat Darkseid. He amplified the AntiLife Equation, which is another, how do you amplify the most powerful thing in the world, blah, 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 blah. Well, amplification doesn't necessarily mean that you took something and made it more severe. It just could also mean that you took something and made it more, able to be transmitted. Like, think of a song, right? If you play a song on the radio and you turn the volume up, it doesn't make the song more powerful. It doesn't change anything. But it does make the song penetrate through walls and reach more people, the sound to go further. That's kind of how I interpret this. Don't record videos when you have an alarm set because the alarms interrupt the videos. Anyways, I was talking about the AntiLife Equation, and I think it's fine. People that are critiquing this book, I think you're just looking for things to hate on. Just be like, it's like, you think the book is stupid because Walmart crowds and AntiLife Equations. So everything that I've gone over this far in the book is meaningless because of a couple little nitpick things that you can't wrap your head around. Your imagination won't allow you to bypass. I took this AntiLife Equation thing here to be, it's the same AntiLife Equation, but we made it more potent. So instead of, having to be close to you and to affect you, I can do it from farther away, or I can affect more people, or whatever. Again, none of this is really important. It's just trying to say, like, this guy was super badass. Who is he? We don't even know. And then we see the egg, and this goes back to the Batman 27 from New 52. I think it was Batman 27. Anyway, there's a storyline where Bruce concocts this machine. It's his final invention that will clone himself every 27 years to make a new Batman for a new generation so that the world will always have a Batman. It's this concept. And here Schneider goes back to it. It's been kind of left dormant and mothballed because in normal continuity, it's not needed. It's one of those things that's like, kind of neat, whatever, but it's Bruce is Bruce. We don't need this. But in a future story, this becomes relevant. And Scott Snyder is pulling all the stops to address things that he's talked about in the past, part of his Greg Capullo partnership. So blah, 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 blah. So despite all this, they have this argument. Bruce is talking, but this, what about that, blah, blah. No, that's impossible. I'm saying it's time, Bruce. It's time to relinquish the world to the new heroes and gods. But here, these people, I saved this for you. So she had saved his outfit this whole time. And she's taken the rest of the survivals to the underworld, to Hades. And Bruce is like, well, you're doing what? She's like, I made this deal. And we still don't know what the deal is. And something's happened to her. It's like, what the hell's happened? So Bruce is like, you can't. We got to fight. And she's like, my place is here. And I liked this a lot. First of all, I liked that this is a Batman story. It's not a Wonder Woman story. So we need, as a narrative tool, we need a way for Wonder Woman to get out of the story. But also because shows that even though these guys are both heroes, they have different paths and different ways that they believe in. Bruce is very much just, punch through the wall, like never give up, persist. And Diana's thoughts on this are more peaceful, resolution. The people are what matters. And it's not like necessarily either one is right, but I liked that it makes you think and that to see the characters, they all don't just think exactly the same. And so she's like, come with us. The people are going to need a new Batman. And so because he is technically a new Batman. That was the whole wake up scene. He's the clone of Batman. And Alfred, he woke up 2 years early. That's the problem. And Alfred was trying to set this whole thing up for him to have a home because Alfred didn't think the world had a place for Batman. All the heroes are dead. But this boy would need a life. And Alfred's love for him, it was just, it chokes me up a little bit. I thought it was really heartfelt writing that Scott had. But also Alfred had set it up for him to be Batman at the same time. And that is what's amazing. And I love that part where he's like, this was my masterpiece because Alfred achieved both. And whichever path Bruce ultimately took, Alfred had made possible for him. And that is like the ultimate loyalty. Just, if I didn't love Alfred before, I freaking love Alfred now. And so, Diana, I don't know. Please rest. We'll talk more in the morning, Bruce. It's good to have you back. And he's thinking, and he's looking at the Hall of Justice. And then, can you see in the dark? This little boy approaches him, and he's like talking about bats, and bats don't actually see in the dark, and blah. And he's having this little kind of fun moment with this kid. And again, this is a good human moment. A good human moment about Bruce, and why does Bruce do the things that he does. And we needed that. We needed this. And he does a little echo and some Joker stuff that it's not really relevant to cover as a review, but it's really fun to read in the story. And the next day, Bruce, are you awake? I want to show you the plans. And she sees the costumes gone. Damn it. Goodbye, Bruce. And then we've had many adventures together, he and I. I've been at his side practically this whole life, through the bad times and the good. This case, like I said, felt different from the start. We both sensed it, but this one was stranger, darker. But there was no turning back now. It was too late. And so with that, we set out for Parts Unknown, Batman and I. The end of the first chapter, the book, first book of 3. Holy crap. I hope I did at least some justice. If you've read this book on your own, I think you already know what you need to know. You don't need me to tell you. And that's another one thing I want to talk about is don't let someone like me tell you your opinions. Don't let someone like Zach tell you your opinions. I went over to his channel to, I respect Zach immensely. No ill will towards Zach. Like I said, the only reason I'm even mentioning him is he got me into comics. His love for comics. And look, we're all going to disagree. I love something. He doesn't like something. He likes something. I hate something. Whatever. That happens. Things are subjective. For some reason, Zach's eyes and his mind, when he read this comic, it struck a different chord than it struck with me. Now, based on popular opinion, I think my opinion is a little bit aligned with the masses, but that doesn't make it right either. What kind of disturbed me is when I started reading the comments on his channel, on his video, and all these people just to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe this book sucked, or yeah, man, it's too, just sort of like almost, you could tell that they hadn't read the book. They were making comments like, oh, that's too bad that referring to his comments, it's too bad Scott did this, or just buying into everything that Zach said. And it's not like Zach's an untrustworthy fellow at all. I think he was wholly sincere in his book or his review. Absolutely. But he's still fallible. He's still a human being, just like me. Everything I'm telling you here is 100% sincere and true from my point of view. You might read this book and just be like, it's dog shit. I don't think you will, because it's amazing, but it's possible you will. And that's fine. Some people don't like The Dark Knight Returns. Some people don't like Watchmen. Some people like Kelly Thompson's new West Coast Avengers. The world's what it is. And you can like what you like. But I plead to you, I guess I make a petition to you just to use your own mind. Don't let other people sway you. Approach every book with an open mind and let the author try to sell you and genuinely try to appreciate what they're doing. They may fail, and that's fine, and you may hate their work, that's fine. But if you go into the book saying, this is stupid, I don't like Scott Snyder and his politics, or I don't like... If you go in like that, you're not going to like anything. If you go in and you buy into the whole culture war, everyone's on Twitter, blah, 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 this book sucks, and I can't believe that, Game of Thrones ended this, and you're like, yeah, get the pitchforks. You're never going to enjoy anything. Because we have good things, but now everyone's just aligning with the train of thought of like, what do the other people think? Yeah, that's the way. And everyone's afraid to feel like to have their own opinion. And it sucks. But this book absolutely does not suck. It is phenomenal in every way. You could see the art as I was going through. Hopefully you've read it yourself and you didn't even need to see what I showed you. But I wanted you to share my opinion, how I was reading the book, how it came across to me. And I don't think I did it justice, to be honest. The only thing that can do justice to this book is reading it yourself and seeing it. And it's nearly flawless in my opinion. It's so good. All the nitpicker things I try to address because those are the things that people poke at. And I was like, I don't even think those are issues. I just think those are people looking to try to find something to disagree with so they can have an excuse not to like it. Why? Why are you in comics at all if you want to pick this book up and not like it? We sit there and we cry, and I got into comics from Comicsgate, and I heard all the cries about there weren't good comics, and please just give us good comics by good creators who act professionally. And here we have a good creator who acts professionally, a team of creators at the top of their game, bringing us a fantastic book about a character we love in a format that's super premium. It's a great value, everything we could possibly want, and people bitch. Then it's like, dude, what? You just can't be impressed. Like, does it need to be freaking, give you does it need to pay you? Does it need to have money inside for you to be like, oh, okay, maybe it's okay? Like, think about what you want in comics. Like, why? What does it take to really impress you? Or to, not even impress you, just make you happy, to make you enjoy comics. This is what I want out of comics. If every comic could be this good, I'd be through the moon. If every comic was this good, this era would be better than the 90s. When I say is the golden age all the time. This is phenomenal. This is one of the few books I believe is going to go. Now, issue 2 and 3 could shit the bed. I don't want to make that like hold on to it. I said Heroes in Crisis #1 was amazing, and it was. And then that comic shit the bed. But Scott Snyder is not that same kind of creator. I don't think he will. I hope he will deliver, but I will keep reviewing issues 2 and 3 to let you know if it keeps on this quality. This book right now, this could be a one-shot. I mean, this is like a solid ending to me. And it's phenomenal. So I hope you get to read it. I hope I didn't spoil it for you. Please tell me what you thought. There's more that I'll think of later as I interact with you guys, and people have questions or comments or whatever. I'll be like, oh, I wish I would have covered that in the video. Please engage down below. Stuff down there. And thanks for watching. Stan says thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. It's time for another JL8 webcomic, number 39 by Yale Stewart. Who are the little kids now?